Buckle up, because we're about to dive into some serious relationship drama that has the internet absolutely buzzing. When celebrity marriages start showing cracks, especially when one half is a pastor, the fallout can get complicated real quick. We're talking about allegations, denials, social media clues, and enough drama to fill a reality TV season. So grab your favorite snack because this story has more twists and turns than a soap opera, and honestly, we're all here for it. Let's start from the beginning, because to understand where we are now, we need to remember how picture-perfect this relationship seemed just a few years ago. Shaunie O'Neal, the former wife of NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal and reality TV mogul behind Basketball Wives, found love again with Pastor Keion Henderson, the charismatic leader of Lighthouse Church in Houston. When they got married in 2022, it felt like a fairy tale comeback story. Here was Shaunie, who had been through a very public divorce and all the challenges that come with co-parenting and rebuilding your life, finding happiness with a man of God. Pastor Keion, meanwhile, was this dynamic, young pastor who seemed to genuinely adore Shaunie and embrace her children as his own. Their wedding was beautiful, their social media presence was goals, and they seemed to represent this perfect blend of faith, family, and success. Shaunie even took his last name, becoming Shaunie Henderson, which felt like a statement about their commitment to making this marriage work. But here's the thing about celebrity marriages: sometimes the more perfect they look on the outside, the messier things are behind closed doors. Over the past year, eagle-eyed fans have been picking up on some subtle but telling changes in Shaunie and Pastor Keion's public interactions. It started with the social media patterns. Anyone who's been through relationship drama knows that social media behavior can tell you everything you need to know about what's really going on. Shaunie's posts became less frequent when it came to featuring Pastor Keion, and when she did post about him, the captions seemed more formal and less personal than they used to be. Then there were the separate appearances. While it's normal for couples to have their own professional obligations, fans noticed that Shaunie and Pastor Keion were showing up to events solo more often than they used to. Even more telling, there were several high-profile events where you would have expected them to appear together, but only one of them showed up. But the real drama started when rumors began circulating about what was allegedly happening behind the scenes. According to various sources and social media speculation, there have been allegations of financial discrepancies, trust issues, and some behavior that definitely wouldn't align with the image of a perfect pastoral marriage. Some sources have alleged that there were issues including betrayal and financial discrepancies in their relationship, though it's important to note that these are unverified claims that have been circulating primarily through social media and gossip channels. One of the most persistent rumors involves allegations about Shaunie's behavior before and during the marriage. There have been whispers about questionable relationships and situations that, if true, would definitely explain why a marriage might be in trouble. But again, these are allegations, and we have to be careful about treating rumors as facts. What makes this situation particularly complex is Pastor Keion's position as a church leader. When you're a pastor, your personal life isn't just personal, it affects your congregation, your ministry, and your entire professional reputation. The expectations placed on pastoral marriages are intense, and when things go wrong, the fallout can be devastating. Pastor Keion has built his ministry around themes of healing, restoration, and healthy relationships. He's counseled countless couples and spoken extensively about marriage and family values. So if his own marriage is falling apart, that creates a credibility crisis that goes far beyond just personal heartbreak. The church community has been watching this situation very closely, because pastoral divorces can shake the faith of congregants who looked up to the couple as an example. Some members of Lighthouse Church have reportedly been asking questions and expressing concern about what's really going on. For Shaunie, the stakes are equally high but in different ways. She's built an entire brand around being this strong, successful woman who learned from her past mistakes and found happiness again. Her reality TV empire, her business ventures, and her public speaking engagements all depend on her maintaining a certain image. If this marriage falls apart, especially in a messy, public way, it could damage the carefully constructed narrative she's built about her life post-Shaq. She's spent years positioning herself as someone who made smart choices the second time around, so having those choices questioned could have serious professional consequences. There's also the blended family aspect to consider. Shaunie has children from her previous marriage, and Pastor Keion has been actively involved in their lives. If the marriage ends, that affects not just the adults but all the children who have formed relationships and attachments. What's made this situation even more confusing is that despite all the rumors and speculation, Shaunie and Pastor Keion have continued to make joint appearances at their religious conferences and events. As recently as early 2025, they were still appearing together at their Cry Out conference events, presenting a united front and continuing their ministry work. This has led to some people questioning whether the divorce rumors are actually true, or if this is just another case of internet speculation getting out of hand. After all, if they were really getting divorced, would they still be doing ministry work together and presenting themselves as a couple? But others argue that financial and professional obligations might require them to maintain appearances even if their personal relationship has fallen apart. When you've got conferences booked, speaking engagements scheduled, and business partnerships in place, sometimes you have to keep the show going even when your personal life is in shambles. The internet has basically turned into a team of relationship detectives, analyzing every post, every photo, and every interaction for clues about what's really going on. Fans have noticed that Shaunie has been posting more solo content and less content featuring Pastor Keion than she used to. There have also been observations about body language in their recent public appearances. Some fans claim they can see tension and distance in photos where they're together, while others argue that people are reading too much into normal human expressions and interactions. The wedding ring situation has also been scrutinized, with some people claiming they've seen photos where one or both of them aren't wearing their rings. Of course, there could be perfectly innocent explanations for this, but when people are already suspicious, every detail becomes evidence. One of the more serious allegations that has been floating around involves financial issues between the couple. Running a large church and managing multiple business ventures requires significant financial coordination, and when marriages get messy, money issues often become central to the conflict. There have been unverified claims about disagreements over church finances, business investments, and personal spending. Some sources have suggested that there were discoveries about financial decisions that weren't made jointly, which could certainly cause trust issues in any marriage. For a pastoral couple, financial scandals can be particularly damaging because congregants trust church leaders to be good stewards of donations and resources. Any suggestion of financial impropriety or poor judgment could have consequences that extend far beyond the marriage itself. Both Shaunie and Pastor Keion have built significant platforms based partly on their relationship and family dynamic. Pastor Keion frequently speaks about marriage and relationships in his sermons and social media content, while Shaunie has used their relationship as an example of finding love and happiness after divorce. If the marriage is indeed in trouble, both of them will need to figure out how to pivot their messaging and maintain their credibility with their respective audiences. This is particularly challenging when so much of their recent content has been about their partnership and blended family success. The timing is also problematic because they've both been promoting upcoming events and projects that were marketed around their joint ministry and relationship. Canceling or restructuring these commitments could have significant financial and professional consequences. One of the most heartbreaking aspects of this situation, if the rumors are true, is the impact on their blended family. Shaunie's children, who have publicly embraced Pastor Keion as a father figure, would be affected by any major changes in the family structure. Pastor Keion has been very involved in the lives of Shaunie's kids, attending their events, supporting their endeavors, and presenting himself as a committed stepfather. If the marriage ends, those relationships would inevitably change, which could be difficult for everyone involved. There's also the question of how they would handle co-parenting and family dynamics if they separate. When you've created a public image around your blended family success, the pressure to handle any changes gracefully is enormous. Here's the reality: despite all the speculation, rumors, and social media analysis, there hasn't been any official confirmation from either Shaunie or Pastor Keion about the status of their marriage. The allegations and claims that have been circulating are largely unverified and come from gossip sources rather than official statements. What we do know is that they've been making fewer joint appearances, their social media interactions have changed, and there's been enough speculation to generate significant online discussion. Whether this represents actual marriage troubles or just a natural evolution in how they present their relationship publicly is unclear. Regardless of what's actually happening in their marriage, the intense public scrutiny and speculation can't be helpful for any couple trying to work through their issues. When every photo is analyzed, every social media post is dissected, and every public appearance is scrutinized for signs of trouble, it creates additional pressure that most marriages don't have to handle. The combination of Pastor Keion's pastoral responsibilities and Shaunie's celebrity status means they're dealing with expectations from multiple communities: the church community, the entertainment industry, and the general public. Each of these groups has different standards and expectations, which can create impossible situations. As this story continues to develop, there are several possible outcomes. The rumors could turn out to be completely unfounded, and Shaunie and Pastor Keion could address them directly and move forward stronger than ever. Alternatively, they could confirm that they're going through difficulties but are working on their marriage. The most dramatic outcome would be an official announcement of separation or divorce, which would require both of them to significantly restructure their professional and personal lives. Given the complexity of their situation, the church, the businesses, the blended family, and their public platforms, any major change would have far-reaching consequences. This situation highlights the unique challenges that come with being a high-profile couple, especially when faith and ministry are involved. The expectations placed on pastoral marriages are intense, and when you add celebrity status and business partnerships to the mix, the pressure becomes even greater. It also demonstrates how social media and public speculation can create their own reality, where rumors and allegations take on a life of their own regardless of what's actually happening behind closed doors. In today's digital age, managing a public relationship requires constant navigation of public perception and private reality. Look, at the end of the day, we're talking about real people dealing with real relationship challenges, and that deserves some level of respect and understanding. Whether Shaunie and Pastor Keion are going through a rough patch, dealing with unfair speculation, or actually heading towards separation, they're navigating incredibly difficult circumstances under intense public scrutiny. Marriage is hard enough without having every moment analyzed by thousands of strangers on the internet. While we're all curious about celebrity relationships and the drama that comes with them, it's worth remembering that there are real emotions, real families, and real consequences behind all the headlines and speculation. Whatever happens with Shaunie and Pastor Keion, hopefully they can find a path forward that works for them, their children, and their respective communities. Sometimes relationships work out, sometimes they don't, and sometimes the pressure of living in the public eye makes everything more complicated than it needs to be. Keep following for updates on this developing story, but also keep in mind that behind all the drama are real people trying to figure out their lives just like the rest of us.